Hello friends from Wheelchair Gang, Tharis here, and welcome back to another video, where today we are going to be discussing some alternate ideas for the timeless child. But before we do, if you could just do me a teeny tiny little favour, click that subscribe button. It really helps out as we're trying to get to 10k by the end of the year, and I honestly believe that with your support, we can make it happen. Thanks for listening and enjoy this video. I'm going to need you to cast your minds all the way back to 2020 with the release of Series 12. Which character do you think acted the most suspiciously in Series 12? Some of you may say Graham, as it seems like he says Doctor at some point in the script.
Excuse me, I'm the most normal bloke you're ever going to meet.
And to that I say, haha, you fool! There's someone who acts far more suspicious in Doctor Who Series 12, and they are, drumroll please, Yasmin Khan. Now some of you may be saying, wait, Yaz acted suspiciously in Series 12? And to that I say yes, she did. Take for example this scene in Spyfall Part 2 where the Master is seen grinning at her as if he knows something about her that no one else does, and she grins back. Or this scene in Praxeus where she seems disappointed that she wasn't the one to find an alien planet.
What are you looking like that for?
Thought I discovered an alien planet on my own.
Well, what if this was all part of a grander narrative? What if Yaz was the timeless child? Now, this may come as a shock to all of you, I know, but hear me out on this. In this version of events, things would go very differently. Demons of the Punjab would not feature any of Yaz's family. In fact, the only parts of Yaz's family we see are her current family, i.e. her dad, her sister, and whoever else is in that house. I can't remember, I think it might just be them. But we only see her modern version of her family. We never see any of her grandparents or anything like that. Cut to Spyfall Part 2, and those suspicious looks the Master and Yaz have been giving each other have been amped up by 1,000, and the day is saved not by the Doctor, but by Yaz. By a means that the Doctor would probably know. Let's just say, for example, she reverses the polarity.
Reverse the polarity!
Something that Yaz should definitely not know how to do, so the Doctor is immediately suspicious of Yaz. This would kind of be similar to the Dr. Donna in Series 4, where she has knowledge far beyond a human due to merging with the Meta-Crisis Doctor. However, here the Doctor doesn't know the reason why Yaz knows all these things. Orphan 55 would be a very different episode. For this, I'm taking inspiration from Flower Productions' video, which I'll play now.
When the Orphan 55 promo pictures were released, I was among those who hoped that Graham was holding a Time Lord hypercube. I envisaged a story whereby an orphan Time Lord had escaped the Master's destruction of Gallifrey and sent a distress call for help.
Where, as it's explained there, an orphan Time Lord would attempt to escape the wreckage of Gallifrey, sending out a hypercube only for the Doctor to find it. But this time, the Time Lord would be very afraid of Yaz, and none of the team would know why. So it's building up an idea that something is wrong with Yaz. Episode 4 wouldn't be Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror, but instead Praxeus, as this is where we saw more of the seeds of her becoming a bit more angry at the TARDIS team, with her being frustrated and annoyed that she didn't find this planet, and other things I'd probably add on as well. But this would all culminate in Episode 5, Fugitive of the Judoon, which I would make a two-parter personally, because I think that for what we're going to reveal in it, it needs to be a two-parter. So Fugitive of the Judoon, as it now goes, would not take place in Gloucestershire, but instead it would take place in Sheffield, right by Yaz's family home. And that's for one very simple reason. Instead of revealing the Ruth Doctor in this episode, we reveal that Yaz is the timeless child, who stole the TARDIS alongside some of her disciples, who we would reveal to be her family, landing about 20 years before the events of Series 11, which would explain how Yaz knew Ryan as a child, then used a chameleon arch to revert to a human and a child, and she flees the Doctor at the end of Part 1. Part 2 would be about Graham, Ryan, and Captain Jack Harkness trying to evade the Judoon, and the Doctor picking them up at the end. Sort of like a police chase episode. There would also be no mention of the lone Cyberman or Cybermen of any variety in this version of Series 12, and the reason for that is because I think that what we're setting up is big enough for it to be a finale, so it doesn't need the Cybermen necessarily in order to work. Episode 6 would be the aforementioned Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror, a more incidental adventure with the Doctor clearly still not quite there though this time. Maybe as a result she struggles to figure out a way to defeat the Skithra, so Nikola Tesla has to figure out the way in the end, or something of that nature, something just to show that this news has affected her, and the rest of the team for that matter. Episode 7, Can You Hear Me, would play on the Doctor's fears even more, with her having a nightmare about Yaz taking over the universe as the Timeless Child. Haunting a Villa Diodati instead of being about the Cybermen would be our equivalent to Lungbarrow, with the team travelling back to Yaz's home when she was the Timeless Child, and as we find out was experimented on by the Time Lords. This would have some hints to what would be revealed in the finale, but nothing concrete. In episode 9, the team would locate the portal thing to Gallifrey instead of it just being something that they find coincidentally. They'd actually be tracking it down because they assume that's where Yaz has gone. And at the end of episode 9, Yaz reveals her plan to terraform the multiverse into her own image. Now, you may be saying, hang on, where's this multiverse angle come from? Well, since the Timeless Child is a being with power beyond most beings' comprehension, I don't think it would be too much of a stretch to say that because she fell through a boundary from another universe, she would have some ability to manipulate the universes around her, and so it would make sense as an act of revenge as to how she was treated, that she would now want to terraform the universe in her own image. And she can inflict the pain upon others that she had to experience at the hands of the Time Lords herself. With Yaz's backstory obviously being revealed in this grand speech about her plan. And then episode 10 would be her opening these portals to other universes, and essentially the Doctor, the current TARDIS team, Captain Jack Harkness, and the Master, who's obviously still annoyed that the Timeless Child is part of their origin because the Master liked the noble creation myth of the Time Lords. He liked feeling like one of these gods, so to find out that he wasn't and it was just stolen drove him insane and drove him to destroy Gallifrey again, would force him to fight alongside the Doctor and Captain Jack, as well as the current team, in defeating Yaz. But it's not quite enough. All hope seems lost. The team are defeated. Yaz will reign supreme as the Timeless Child across the multiverse, when all of a sudden we see a little police box fly out of one of the portals.
That sound brings hope wherever it goes.
And land on the ground next to them. The Ruth Doctor. This is how we bring in the Ruth Doctor, and she is the deciding factor in the finale. She's the one who banishes the Timeless Child to another universe, saving the day. 13 may have an issue with this, but in the end, it's what had to be done. Revolution of the Daleks would carry on pretty much as it was, but with the Doctor being a lot more hung up about the events of the Timeless Child, because this time, a friend that she really felt close to turned out to be a villain. And we would end Revolution of the Daleks with her sat in the TARDIS alone. If you did enjoy this video and this more theory type of content, be sure to give it a like, comment down below your thoughts, and subscribe if you're new. Thank you for watching, and I will see you later.